welcome. It's my pleasure to talk to you this week about the steps to delegation. It is important to follow a clear process when delegating work. This is going to save you a lot of time down the track, and making sure the instructions and expectations are clear. So how do we do this? Well, firstly, delegation must begin with an agreement between the two parties. Secondly, establish the standards and guidelines that identify when the job's been completed successfully. List the resources required and identify rewards for completing the job successfully or correctly. Identify consequences for not completing the job correctly. Allow time for practice, and once the person you're delegating the work to is ready to take over, then give them total responsibility. It's also important to maintain open communication, that they feel and believe it's fine to come back to you, and monitor their progress. That way you can pick up errors before it gets too late. And then agree on a timeline for assessment and feedback. So how does this come into reality? I'll go through an example. We had a discussion about work, about the tasks that I, as the manager, were doing and what others could possibly do. At the meeting, it was agreed that one of the staff members would cross-check all the invoices for accuracy. Now, Jeff was a particular staff member. Jeff and I then discussed what the job entailed. I showed him the standards that I expected, and the first time I actually demonstrated how I do the job. The second time we checked the document together, and the third time he mainly did it, I just guided a little. The fourth time he did it by himself with me watching, and the fifth time he just took over and did it all completely. Now, to cross-check the invoice, Jeff had to gather all the relevant paperwork and access a computer. The reward was a thank you and a job well done, but the consequence was it meant that the bookkeeper would have to do additional work and would then speak to Jeff directly, identifying what went wrong, how it can be improved in the future. Jeff, of course, was given the time to practice and advised to communicate if he had any questions, points for discussion, queries, clarifications. Jeff was then, of course, given full responsibility for the job, and the progress was monitored on a weekly basis by both myself and the bookkeeper, just for a couple of weeks. Jeff and I agreed to meet after the first week of him doing it completely by himself to further discuss any questions he may have had, if he'd been doing it correctly, how he could perhaps improve it. The open discussion cemented the fact that he had ownership of this task. That sums it up. So think about what you're going to delegate, the steps you need to delegate it properly, and who the most appropriate person is. Now, you're welcome to access further information on the website lifestyrefocus.com.au. In the meantime, wishing you a happy, productive and successful week.